One was once Alex Murphy, remade into the powerful cyborg known as Robocop. With his prime directives in place, he protects the mean streets of Detroit. The other, a time-traveling machine from the future known as a Terminator, created to destroy mankind. It goes without saying that a matchup between these two sci-fi legends was inevitable, and although this hasn't been done in the form of a movie or series yet, there were certainly other mediums up to the task. The Robocop vs. Terminator video game is loosely based on a 4-part limited series comic book published in 1992 by Dark Horse Comics, written by Frank Miller and drawn by Walt Simonson, which is pretty good, I might add. I never got to play this game growing up, which as you could imagine sucked, especially since I was an avid comic book fan and there always seemed to be ads for this game amongst the pages of the comics I was reading. So with this episode I've decided to focus on the Sega Genesis version as it was the original lead development of the game. It's also worth noting that the Genesis version is considered to be superior to the Super Nintendo's offering, but more on that in a moment. So if I were to delve into the technical aspects of this game in order to articulate why the Genesis version was superior, a large contributor apart from the lead development team would be the use of Dave Perry's Mega Drive Genesis engine. What does that mean to most people? Probably nothing. So what makes the Genesis version better for gamers? Blood.
So give the blood, gallons of the stuff. Give them all that they can drink and it will never be enough. So give them blood. Grab a glass because there's going to be a flood.
The Genesis version was voted Bloodiest Game of 1993 by Electronic Gaming Monthly, and it certainly lives up to that claim. I mean, just look at this. Jesus, people just fucking explode. Boom, blood, fuck you. It's glorious. The development team really captured the essence of being an unstoppable cyborg as you methodically work your way through the levels gunning down anything that moves. It's fucking great. Now in comparison, the SNES version is sorely lacking. The visuals aren't as sharp or detailed, and the thick black outline makes Robocop look decidedly cartoonish. It's also worth noting that although the ominous stomping noise of Robocop's footsteps are here, something that was unfortunately not present in the Genesis version, can you spot the one extremely important aspect missing from this version? Where's the fucking blood? There's no blood in this game, and while the SNES version story does follow the source material a little closer than its counterpart, with the inclusion of story sequences in between the gameplay as well as the inclusion of characters such as Flo, the Terminator and Robocop franchises are both renowned for their blood and gore, including the comic book source material, so I could only think that the SNES version was neutered in order to keep it in line with Nintendo's family-friendly image. Well, you know what that's not keeping in line with? Fun, because the SNES version is rubbish. It just doesn't have the same gritty intensity of the Genesis version, and worse still, while the comic book story sequences were a neat idea, look how fucking long they drag on for. Why was it done like this? I seriously doubt the players are of a grade 2 reading level requiring this amount of time to get through a single page. What the fuck were they thinking?
2,000 years later.
Anyway, so with that I leave the shit sandwich SNES version where it belongs, lost to the ravages of time, and return to the only version worth playing. Robocop vs. The Terminator follows the typical run and gun mold. You start off with a default weapon, Robocop's Auto 9 machine pistol, that comes with unlimited ammo, and for the first couple of levels you could probably get by with just this weapon, but you'll want to get yourself some weapon pickups as soon as possible. In this case I found the homing missiles to be the best all-round weapon, but during the later levels where you come up against actual Terminators, you'll definitely want to hold on to that plasma rifle. Thankfully, the game allows you to carry up to 2 weapons simultaneously, and you're able to cycle between them as you please. So with that in mind, I used the plasma rifle for Terminators and homing missiles for everything else approach. Along the way, there are also plenty of extra life, shield and health pickups, coming in the form of Robocop's rudimentary paste, baby food jars, and at certain points you get to use one of ED209's cannons. That's pretty cool. The gameplay is quite fun as a whole, and although Robocop vs. The Terminator plays it safe by following a typical platforming level mold, never deviating from the horizontal and vertical level design structure or kill everything that moves mechanic, I found the game to be quite a lot of fun. Most likely as I'm a huge Robocop Terminator fan, and being able to control the large Robocop sprite from level to level was just pure unadulterated fun, and allowed me to overlook the small niggles of the game's repetitive nature. The levels are quite large, with plenty of exploring and hidden items to find, and the numerous bad guys on offer range from street punks to an assortment of robotic enemies, including some well-known characters such as ED-209 from the first Robocop film, and even the awesome Robocane from the sequel. I must say that having to battle Robocane in a space as confined as this wasn't the best experience, and although this fight did seem pretty much impossible in the beginning, once you get the rhythm of what you're meant to do, then this is pretty much a breeze. As I previously mentioned, the sprites are nice and large in this game, and although the color palette is somewhat muted and dreary, they fit the look and feel of the source material, and both sprites and backgrounds are nicely detailed. The large assortment of bosses is also a nice addition, but can prove to be frustratingly difficult at times, especially the final confrontation. I mean, just look at this shit. How the fuck is anyone meant to defeat this thing? As expected, the music in Robocop vs. The Terminator is an assortment of harsh-sounding industrial electronic tunes, and the sound effects and screams are equally harsh, especially with the weapons that make use of missiles. Jesus, just listen to that. Would I play this one again? Yeah, probably. It's just a mindless ton of fun that serves as fan service more than anything else. And you could do far worse than Robocop vs. The Terminator on the Genesis. And while it's not the most unique or imaginative game out there, the endless action and gratuitous violence more than make up for this shortcoming, so if this one does cross your path, or if it's been on your gaming bucket list, push it up on your list and give it a shot. Well, that's it for this week. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, cheers.